Hey there, buckle up because I've got a wild tale for you. It's all about heists, charisma, and a whole lot of vault-cracking fun. Welcome to the world of Army of Thieves. Our protagonist Sebastian is not your typical safecracker. He's a total nerd, obsessed with locks, and his idea of a wild Friday night is solving puzzles. But hey, that's what makes him unique. One day, out of the blue, Sebastian receives a mysterious invitation to join a gang of thieves led by the enigmatic Gwendolyn. The catch? They're not after your run-of-the-mill loot. They're eyeing the mother of all vaults in Europe. In the evening, he arrives to the location. He tells Hardly Man that a password that was mentioned in the comments and he is let in. He is nervous, even me if I was him. He is the last participant in safe cracking that all waiting for. He is still confused and tries to ask a nearby competitor, but he just ignores him, lol. The host tells everyone to start, and everyone but him starts cracking the safe. He is humble. The host tells them that only 4 people will reach the next stage. Good luck, Sebastian. He then begins and manages to make it to the 4th place. 4 contestants remain for the semifinals. In the final, when the host tells them to start, Neo is confident in his abilities. But our Sebastian is more confident. He makes small talk with Neo with 1 minute left. He has yet to begin. In the last 30 seconds, he starts and manages to open the safe with less than a second to spare. Neo is mad, tries to jump him, but the Hardly Man holds him back. The crowd cheers. He notices his a woman and love at first sight, Gwendolyn. That will change his life. Eventually, he learns many things about her, such as she stole her first watch and she was 16, heart was broken, that she stole her first car and become wanted. But that moment, he doesn't know anything about her. Next morning, as he is getting his coffee, he is startled by her loves one and spills it on himself. She reveals to him that she was the first commentator and viewer on his videos. She's an internationally wanted jewelry thief and she wants to recruit him. Because of the outbreak in America, in the next 96 hours the safes will be decommissioned in Geneva. This his chance to solve the 3 puzzle safes Hannah made. Gives him an address to go if he decides to join them. He decided to visit the address and greets him. Now, Sebastian is not the lone wolf type. He needs a crew. Each member brings a unique skill to the table. There's the master hacker, getaway driver. The last one is their real-life action hero. That's the whole team. Corina informs him of their plan. Rheingold is in Paris, 413 million combinations. The Valkyrie is in Prague, Czech Republic, 235 billion combination. And the Siegfried is in Moritz, Switzerland. It has 72 trillion combinations. It is said to contain up to $100 million. Wow, owned by infamous Bly Tanaka. No time to waste, so they head to Paris and just about to his credit union. He gets cold feet. If I was him, I will get cold feet too. But they go over the plane. He goes in first and heads straight for the bathroom. Gwen follows him, takes the guard's key and asks for a safety deposit box under a fake name. Corina will enter, and the cashier is the only one who can help her since no one else speaks English. At this point, Gwen slips out and picks up his future, which is Sebastian. Everything went as planned, and they find themselves in the vault room. The vault is called the Rheingold. Before he begins, he wastes a lot of time telling Gwen the story behind the safe. Nice moves, Sebastian. She is disinterested and just him to start, but he still continues his story of how the gold was obtained for the safe and starts calling it his love. Are you okay, Sebastian? He puts on a song, Das Rheingold, and begins. With the whirring and cranking of some machinery inside, all the locks fall into place and the vault is opened. Nice. It is not about the money, it's about becoming legends. He almost tries to get points with her, but decides against it. Then they walks out, successfully finishing their first heist. In the next scene, we see France Interpol officers gather for a meeting, during which an agent named Delacroix examines the details of the Rheingold heist. It turns out Delacroix has been relentlessly pursuing Brad and Gwendolyn for years, yet they have consistently eluded capture. In their most recent encounter, Delacroix came so close to apprehending Brad, but the latter shot him before fleeing. Delacroix realizes that the crew now has a new safecracker, and they are plotting to target the 2 remaining safes, presenting him and his team with 2 more chances to apprehend them. Meanwhile, the crew are at their hideout, happily celebrating their successful first heist. Amidst the festivities, Corina approaches him and invites him to make out with her, but he declines, saying he is only interested in Gwen. Hearing this, Corina becomes slightly jealous and discloses that Gwen is dating Brad, but they are going through a rough patch currently, so Sebastian might have a chance. Later that night, he goes to Gwen and initiates a conversation. It leads them to open up about their respective pasts. He shares how his fascinating with safecracking set him apart from other kids in his neighborhood, while Gwen recounts her struggles with her wealthy family and her subsequent decision to live independently. Unfortunately, Brad sees them together and becomes really jealous. The next day, the crew arrives in Prague for their second heist targeting the Valkyrie. But they don't know that Delacroix and his team are waiting for them, implementing heightened security measures. After rehearsing their plan, he infiltrates the bank disguised as a fake employee, with Karina clearing his path by hacking into the banking system. He is then guided towards the vault with Gwen closely following him. The security guards get suspicious as they see Sebastian disappear on the cameras. However, when they confront them near the elevator, Gwen skillfully takes them down using her supreme Jackie Chan moves, beats them both with no problem. After this, the two proceed towards the safe, ready to commence its unlocking. Meanwhile, Delacroix senses that something is off. Intrigued by his instincts, he decides to head to the bank. However, upon reaching the safe, he shockingly discovers that it does not contain the Valkyrie safe. He frantically asks the bank manager about it, and he explains that the Valkyrie had been transferred to another bank for safety. This means that Delacroix and his team have ended up in the wrong location, so, without wasting any time, they rush into their vehicles to go catch the thieves. This compels the crew to implement Plan B. As a result, our real-life action man assumes the role of a masked robber and enters the building, incapacitating the guards with tranquilizers in order to provide Sebastian and Gwen with additional time. Seeing the commotion, a bank guard triggers the alarm, alerting the authorities and sealing off all possible exits. Meanwhile, Sebastian manages to successfully crack the Valkyrie with a few shaky moments. Overwhelmed with the achievement, he hugs Gwen tightly and almost kisses her again. However, their intimate moment is interrupted by Karina's radio. Better luck next time, Sebastian. Karina urged them to provide a status update so that Brad can make his exit from the bank. After giving a signal, Brad attempts to leave, but he is shot in the shoulder by a guard. Nevertheless, he manages to escape through a window and make his way to the getaway van. Shortly after, Sebastian and Gwen also come out from the bank just moments before Delacroix and his team arrive at the scene. The two sprint towards the van. Brad helps Gwen, but when Sebastian takes his hand, instead of pulling him in, he throws him out. All the members, except Brad, look distraught. Poor Sebastian. The police starts to chase Sebastian and he tries to steal a bike. It's embarrassing. He still manages to steal from a random passerby. Run, Sebastian. He manages to escape the police by riding on a narrow road and getting on a moving train. In the van, Karina tells them that Sebastian hasn't been caught yet, or at least it hasn't been announced. It turns out the real plan was to cut Sebastian loose after the final heist, but Gwen is still upset that Brad threw him out on the street like a trash. Rolf was even to start to like the guy. Gwen is worried about how they are going to take Siegfried on without him, but Brad tells her Tfoy have enough money to retire twice. For Gwen, it's not about the money. Gwen becomes enraged and decides to leave the van. Brad tries to hold her back, confessing his love for her, but she rejects it and departs. Soon after, Karina also joins her. They decided to find Sebastian so they can crack the Siegfried safe. In the next scene, Sebastian returns home, only to discover the girls waiting for him. They express their apology for betraying him. Gwen explains that for Rolf and Brad, the heist was solely about financial gain, unlike the three of them who were motivated by the desire to becoming legendary thieves known for cracking the Wagner safes. She proposes that they team up to go for the Siegfried. Sebastian is initially hesitant as he fears that the girls will betray him again, but when Gwen promises to never leave his side, he agrees. The trio then sets off for St. Moritz, Switzerland, where the Siegfried is located within a casino. This time, Delacroix chooses a more cautious approach, deciding to wait for the alarms to sound before moving in to apprehend Gwen's crew. He is determined not to give them an opportunity to escape as they did previously. As a result, Delacroix and his team stay patient. During this time, Delacroix's team intercepts a radio transmission between Karina and Sebastian, which reveals that the heist is scheduled for 5 a.m. They patiently bide their time and precisely enter the premises at 5 a.m., only to discover that the safe has already been moved 90 minutes earlier. This makes Delacroix realize that Corina deliberately leaked their communication to mislead his team, and that the safe has already been stolen. Elsewhere, we see Gwen and Sebastian on a truck, with the latter beginning the process of cracking the safe. At the same time, Brad and Rolf are outside the casino with the intention of stealing the money from their former crew. They track Gwen's location through her phone and start pursuing her. Corina, who is still outside the casino, attempts to stop them, but she instead gets surrounded by Delacroix and his team. Before surrendering through, she manages to alert Gwen about Brad. In the truck, Sebastian successfully unlocks all 7 locks of the Siegfried safe. Nice, Sebastian. This brings immense joy for both him and Gwen. They then begin to pack the money, but suddenly, Brad arrives there and interrupts them. He aims his gun at Sebastian and attempts to shoot, but fortunately, it malfunctions. Whoa. Gwen reveals that she tampered with Brad's weapon earlier because she suspected he might kill someone. She then retrieves her own working gun and takes control of this situation. Sebastian cannot take it any longer and tries to punch him, but no damage. At last, she handcuffs the bad guys to the truck before leaving with Sebastian. Following their escape plan, Gwen and Sebastian reach a boat. Before getting off the car, Sebastian nervously expresses his love for Gwen, to which she responds by kissing him. Nice. Just then, Delacroix arrives there with a gun in hand. He is there to put them behind bars once for all. Gwen, who is also pointing a gun towards him, refuses to give up and engages in negotiation with the officer. She proposes that she will turn himself in on the condition that Sebastian is allowed to go free. Delacroix reluctantly agrees, and Gwen instructs Sebastian to leave. She assures him that they will reunite and pursue Götterdämmerung together once she is released. With a heavy heart, Sebastian departs on the boat, determined to be reunited with Gwen in the future. The scene then shifts to some time later, where we find Sebastian as the owner of a locksmith shop named after Gwendoline. One day, 2 customers visit Sebastian's store and present him with a blueprint of Götterdämmerung, inviting him to join their team for the final heist. In response, Sebastian simply smiles, signaling his readiness to participate in the final heist. So there you have it, Army of Thieves. If you're in the mood for a heist flick that's as entertaining as it is clever, this one's a winner. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one.